Hello and welcome back to She Is the Moment. I'm your host, Shona, life first business coach and rich bitch. So that is the topic of today's podcast. How to have a rich bitch identity, how to embody a rich bitch. What's a rich bitch? We're going to dive right into it. But first, let me talk a little bit about my freedom win of the week. And it all comes from this question that I saw online. And I want to ask you and see what your thoughts are. So I asked my partner what his thoughts were. The question is, would you rather £3 million today in your bank account or £10,000 every month for 30 years? Okay, take a moment, have a think about what your answer would be. Okay, here's mine. I actually, initially, when I first was asked this question, when I first saw it, my sort of like jump to instinct was I would rather have £10,000 a month, right? That, because do you know what that would bring me? Complete financial security. If I had £10,000 guaranteed in my bank account every month, I would know that I could live a really happy, comfortable, safe life. Now, also, think about the fact that £10,000 every month for 3 years is actually 3.6 million. So it is technically more money. However, if you had £10,000 in a year's time, it's still going to be £10,000, but £10,000 in 30 years' time is not going to have the same impact. It's not going to have the same value that it does today. So that's one thing to consider. Whereas if you got £3 million right now, there's a lot that you could do with that. Like you could invest it in lots of different places. You could make that money work really hard for you. And then in 30 years' time, you're living off that £3 million. But that's the sort of more sat down and thought through answer. But just have a think about yourself. And I think what's really interesting about this question is it does actually highlight a lot of things about your own relationship and values with money. So if you're like, oh, I just need financial security, great, that's cool. Or I would love £3 million because I would just love to spend it on all these amazing things. I would buy houses and holidays and da. Okay, that's great too. But it's interesting that we have these different values around money. And that's kind of like why I want to talk about today's freedom win of the week, because what I said to my partner is that me and my partner are both self-employed. Now, I'm a life first business coach. I've been self-employed for pretty much my entire adult life. And he's the same. He owned a gym and then he became a mortgage advisor. His degree at uni was finance, investment and risk. He is like a proper finance nerd, loves mortgages, loves helping people have a mortgage, you know, like that sounds like a really that's what he does, but it really is very rewarding for him and he loves it. And he is completely self-employed doing that. He's a full-time mortgage advisor and he's actually had some really good news recently. He has been signed off to be completely like freelance himself. And I would say I'm going to plug him. It's my podcast. Okay, I'm allowed to do that. If you need a mortgage advisor, go and see Howell Mortgages, Howell, Howell. What is amazing about him is that he will call a spade a spade. He uses layman's terms. He makes you feel totally not stupid. And I've had mortgage advisors who made me feel dumb. And he has done every single mortgage that I've had in my life. Paul has ever since this last person. And he is amazing. I can tell you that. Hand on heart. He's brilliant. He'll make this process really enjoyable for you. Anyway, back to what we were saying is the beauty of him being self-employed and me being self-employed. And I will never, ever take for granted the fact that we are both completely in control of our income. I never take that fact for granted. If I want to earn more, I know exactly what I can do to achieve that. Now, going back to that initial question, would I like 10k months or £3 million now? I actually haven't thinking about it. I would like £3 million now because I have everything within me to make 10k months my reality. And so do you too. because you're a self-employed person. Now, you could be someone who works a 9 to 5. God forbid, I would hate to be that person. But someone else is in control of your income. Like, you sign up, you might get like a bonus, you might have to apply for another job, but ultimately someone else is in control of your income. And that's one of the reasons that I hated being employed, because like you have to go for a job interview and then it depends on like whether someone else thinks that you're up to the job, whether you get it. Someone else gets to decide what your bonus is. Fuck that. And that's why I love being self-employed, because I can make my income goals my reality. The only person who is in control of that is me. And that is a wonderful feeling. That is a freedom win. And I will never, ever take it for granted, and neither should you. Every day that I wake up and I am a self-employed person, I thank the self-employed gods. Okay, so today's topic on the podcast, rich bitch mindset. Now, I love talking about money mindset. Money mindset might not be a phrase that you've heard before, and I'm not going to lie. This time, like a year and a half ago, I had not heard of money mindset. I'd never considered it a thing. I absolutely knew the place that money had in my life. It was very much a toxic relationship between me and money. But I didn't know that money mindset was a thing. And I also didn't know how powerful having a safe and secure money mindset and having a rich bitch mindset, the impact that that would have on my income. Now, I love talking about this because I love talking about things that I'm not supposed to talk about. See, if someone says to me something like, oh my God, right, so Sonia's going through a divorce, so just like don't mention it. I have this like overwhelming need to ask Sonia about her divorce. Like if I sat next to her, I'd be like, Sonia, how's your divorce? I would not be able to hold it in. Because I like to address the elephant that's in the room. I hate there being an elephant. Like, I love elephants, but like, see if there's an elephant that no one's talking about. I'm like, we need to talk about this. We need to address it. Like, maybe call that autism, call that whatever you like. But I don't like leaving things unsaid. Like, they need to be said. So anyway, money, mindset, and talking about money and being excited about earning more money and being proud of yourself for earning more money, those are things that people aren't doing. No one's talking about this. And if they're talking about it, they feel guilty about it or they feel icky. I want you by the end of this podcast to feel excited about earning more money. And know through some of the steps that we're going to talk about in this podcast, how you can start doing that through the power of your identity. Now, the thing is, right, everyone has a money story. Just like if you think back, I'm going to use a lot of relationship with food and fat loss analogies in this podcast, by the way. So if you think back to when you grew up, people's relationship with food, how your mum and dad ate, were they always on a diet? Were they always like commenting on each other's food? How did you feel about food as a teenager? Did something big happen? Then someone made a comment about your body. Like, these then create a food story and impact and shape your relationship with food. Money is no different. So think about how money was talked about when you were small. What was the financial situation of your parents? Did they have a lot of money? Did they not have a lot of money? Was money talked about in a positive or a negative way? And were you taught about money? Did you feel like you knew how to manage money? I fucking didn't. But then also you will have preconceived ideas about rich people. Like when you think in your head, picture a rich person, what do you picture? Are they a man? Are they a bit skeezy? Are they a bit slimy? Are you thinking about Wolf of Wall Street? What are you thinking? Or are you thinking about a woman? Are you thinking about a woman who has a lot of freedom and control? Are you thinking about a woman who has the ability to make more choices in her life because she has an abundance of money? That's an interesting one, isn't it? And then also, as I said at the start of this podcast, everyone will have their own money values. So what is important to you? Do you like to have a lot of money in savings? Do you always have a credit card? Do you think about money a lot? Do you budget? Do you like to spend? Do you like to treat yourself? What do you like to spend your money on? What do you think matters when it comes to money? These are all really important questions to ask yourself and impact how you then make money and what happens when you make money. That's another thing to think about. What is the story that's going on in your head when you earn more money? Because again, like, you'll have all had a client who is on a fat loss journey, and say they are invited to a kid's birthday party, right? They're on a fat loss. They've been doing really well with their diet. They're being invited to a kid's birthday party, and there's a buffet table there, and it's got all the delicious little like beige things, all the things that kids love to eat, like sausage rolls and little mini cakes and like party bags and all the sweets, and oh, I got this birthday cake, delicious, right? And they go buck daft because they're like, oh, all this food is in front of me and it's all here for the taking. And they're like, oh, yum, 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 I'm going to have a bit of everything, a bit of everything. It's because they're in this like feast and famine mindset. And what you help them with is knowing that that food is always going to be there. And just because it's there doesn't mean you have to eat it. And you are the one that is making the choices. And saying no right now actually means yes to your goals later down the line. Money is exactly the same. So one of the reasons that you might be experiencing the income roller coaster is because you're in this feast and famine mindset with money. So let me describe it to you. Maybe something happens like this. You have a really good month, right? Client inquiries coming left, right, and center, right? And you have a really high income month. Maybe it's like a 5 or 6K month, and you're like, oh my God, this is nuts. And normally you have like a 3 or 4K month. So you've made like a good couple of thousand over what you normally earn. So you think, right, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to treat myself. I am going to go to Sweaty Betty and I'm going to buy myself a whole new outfit for the gym. And you know what? Like, let's book a holiday. I've had a really good month. We'll book a holiday. So what actually happens is you spend all that extra money that you've earned, and then you take yourself right back to square one. So like, yeah, those bills still need to be paid. Everything still needs to go out, and you're right back to square one because you spent all the extra money that you have. So then you're in this like panic stations. And the next month, you just can't seem to replicate that high income month because maybe you're turning up with a slight air of desperation in your voice because you really need the same amount of clients that you got last year. And you're just not having that same cool, calm, confident energy that you had the month before. And you can see how much, like, when I say the reason that you're riding an income roller coaster is because you've not addressed your money mindset, you're like, shut up, Shona. It's nothing to do with that. It really and truly impacts it. Okay, so the first thing I want you to do when you're thinking about your relationship with money is thinking about your money attachment type. You might have heard of attachment types before, but in the context of relationships, and they are anxious, avoidant, disorganized, volatile, and secure. And obviously everyone wants to have a secure attachment type. That means when you are in a relationship and you feel totally secure, you're not like needy, you're not talking about your emotions, like it's healthy, you're open, blah, 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 right? The same applies to money. So if you have an anxious attachment type to money, then you'll just never feel safe around money. And this was me. I was the sort of person who, if we're talking about like a relationship, I was the really needy person, and money was kind of abusive boyfriend that never really spoke to me, who was just there when it was good and then would just disappear when I really needed him. And that sounds nuts, but that was exactly what it felt like. And one time I actually wrote a letter to money. This is a really nice activity to do. I would recommend that you do it. Write a letter to money and talk to money in a way that you want to communicate with them. So the way I wrote my letter to money was like, we have had this relationship in the past, but I really do love you and I want you to love me too. So in order for me to love you and for you to love me, I'm going to look after you and care for you. And I'm going to expect in return, you're going to care for me right back. So it's a total 50-50 relationship. I look after money, money looks after me. Whereas before, it was like, I really, really need money. And you know, when you're in a relationship and someone is like so full on like that, it's just not going to work, is it? Another type of attachment type is avoidant. Avoidant. This is so, so common when you just bury your head in the sand with money. Now, I've never been an avoidant person, but you might be an avoidant type if you get bills through and you just, you know what, I'm going to think about that later. Like you never check your bank account. You leave your tax bill until a week before the deadline to do it. That is really not healthy, and it actually can be damaging because you know what happens when we forget about bills or we ignore bills. When you don't do your tax bill in time, you get fines. You ignore your bank account, stuff comes in and out and you don't even realize, and it's just not healthy. And then finally, like disorganized, volatile. And this is a little bit of myself. As soon as I would come into money, I would spend it because I kind of felt like I'm not going to have this for much longer. I'm going to enjoy it while it lasts. And also a part of me, like, I think this might resonate with you, like, especially if you're a self-employed person. This is definitely me because I am one of 4 daughters and all my sisters are very, very clever, successful women who have like great jobs. We're talking GP, dentist, head teacher, and then me. And I just really wanted the world to know that I'm a success. I'm a success. And I do see this a lot with people in the health and fitness industry, is that we are quite showy with money. Like, and this would be me. I would be walking about Pure Gym wearing Stella McCartney leggings because I wanted everyone to know that, yeah, Stella McCartney leggings, that's just what I wear. Like I just spend like over £100 on a pair of leggings because I can afford it. When really and truly, I really didn't. I had no business wearing Stella McCartney leggings at that time in my life. And it would also be like, I needed to go on fancy holidays. I needed to have a good car. I needed to have a nice house in order to show that I was successful. But we now know that that is not where real success lies. Real success lies for me in feeling financially secure and not giving a fuck what anyone else thinks about it. So now it's like my goals with money are to not really have to worry that I need to earn more. To be in a situation where, you know what, there's a leak in my outdoor toilet. Yeah, I've got an outdoor toilet, a bit randomly. There's a leak in my outdoor toilet. That's fine. Like, it's not a big stress. I can go and get that fixed. Or like there's an unexpected bill that comes through, or like, you know, you need to get a new tire in your car. Like, it's not total panic stations because that's the sort of security that I have. And then of course, like the final attachment type is secure, and that's what we all want. So once you've identified what your money attachment type is, I want you to write down like 3 characteristics of that particular attachment type. Say it's something like, okay, I'm an anxious person. I worry that I'm not going to earn enough this month. I stress about bills. I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to interest rates on my mortgage. Right. Okay. So I want you to address those things. And the way that I think that most people can address these problems is by educating and empowering yourself about money. I don't want you to be the sort of person who just lets their other half manage the money. That's the fucking 1950s mindset, and we're in 2024. What I find really interesting, and I put a post up about this recently, we as millennial women, I'm gonna bet that most of you listening are millennials, right? So between the ages of like, you know, late 20s up to mid 40s, millennials, we are the first generation of women who have had complete control over our own finances. Or sorry, I should say, we're the first generation of women who have had the ability to have complete control over our own finances. Because up until something like 1974, women were not allowed a credit card because they weren't deemed responsible enough to have a credit card. And we weren't allowed to get a mortgage by ourselves. If we wanted to get a mortgage and we were a single woman, we had to ask daddy to come into the bank and like vouch for us. And if you didn't have daddy, then hopefully you had a husband who could do that for you. But if you didn't have a daddy and you didn't have a husband, then you were fucked. Like you could not get a house by yourself. Wonder what lesbians had to do. So glad a lot of things have improved and moved on in this world. But we're the first generation because our mums, our parents were in that generation where they didn't have financial control for a very long time. And so when we were born, chances are you're listening to this, you were born in the late 70s, all through the 80s and into the 90s, we've had control over our own money. But we were also raised by a generation of people who told us that it was rude to talk about money, told us that like wanting to earn more money was greedy. Maybe you have this thought that if you have financial goals, you're a selfish person. I think that's absolute bollocks because the fact is, if a woman has more money, she has more freedom and more control over her life and her choices. And that is fucking powerful. And that's what I want you to remember every time someone makes you feel bad or guilty for earning more money. So back to my point, I want you to educate yourself about money. I want you to take control of your own bills. Don't be letting your partner or husband be the person who controls the money because that is dodgy. I'm getting red flags. If your other half is like, don't worry, babes, I'm in control, because you don't know what's happening. And when I talk about us having financial freedom, having access to our own money, it means we have more choices and more control and more freedom. Because God forbid something happened and you didn't want to be with your partner anymore and you could just be like, right, well, I've got my own money. I'm out of here. Adios, amigos. And how are ways that you can educate yourself about money? I want you to maybe look into getting an accountant or watch YouTube videos about how you can manage your own money, how you can have spreadsheets of your earnings and expenditure. And I don't want you to do this just at the end of the tax year. I want you to do this every single month. I want you to put some time in your diary every month where you sit down and you organize your money. That is such a powerful way for you to feel like you are managing your money, you're managing your finances, you are, I was going to say setting budgets. But do you know what? Like, I just want to ask you what you think of this. I was in a masterclass the other day with someone who is a money mindset guru. And she said, stop using the word budget because budget is a negative word. And I was like, I don't know how strongly I feel about that. I don't feel like budget is a negative word because I think it's sometimes like some people do need to budget. Like sometimes there's a time in your life when you are saving for something and you make a choice to like, no, I'm not going to spend that on that because I'm saving for that. I think it's just like semantics. If you want to use the word budget, you can. If you don't want to use it, maybe I'll change my mind on that later, but I don't have a particularly strong feeling about it. But anyway, get yourself an accountant or manage your own finances every month. If you're a self-employed person, then you need to set up a pension. And in order to do that, you might need to speak to a financial advisor. I'm not giving you financial advice on this podcast. I'm just saying this, but I do recommend that like make sure that you have some sort of like saving for the future because babes, you're not going to be a personal trainer in the gym until you're 75. We need to have something set up for you to earn money or have some sort of like income for the future. And it makes me feel quite ashamed for the fact that I didn't have a pension for a very, very long time. And as I said, I've been self-employed most of my adult life. I have a pension that I got when I was in a call center, when I was a student, and then that was me. So now I am in a position where I'm putting a lot of money into a private pension because for years I didn't have anything. I am also about to do a masterclass 6-week course on investing. Her name on Instagram is Girls That Invest. And do you know what? The reason that I am doing this course, yes, I might look at investing money myself, but I actually don't really even know what that means. And when I went to a financial advisor and he was talking all about investing and all these different long words that I'd never heard of, it made me feel not great that I didn't understand what he was saying. So I was like, do you know what? I'm going to go and learn. I'm going to do a course and learn. And if you don't want to do a course, go on YouTube, and there is always going to be someone describing and teaching these things in layman's terms. Interestingly, on that, I said the word palatial to my partner, who I said earlier is a mortgage advisor. I said the word palatial, and he was like, I've never heard that word before. And I was like, darling, palatial, it's like a palace. Like someone's living in a palatial house. It's like a big, grand house. I said, darling, as a mortgage advisor, you should be using the word palatial. And he said, no, I shouldn't, because I don't use words like that because I speak in layman's terms. And I was like, oh yeah, good point. So we're going to take a quick break because if you're listening, I'm guessing that you're wanting to make some big changes in your business. Maybe you're hitting that income ceiling. You're working mornings, evenings, and weekends and spending far too much of your free time stressing about your business. I get it. I've been right there with you, exhausted by my business and thinking that the only way to earn more is to work more, which is your idea of hell right now, considering how close you already are to burnout. This is exactly why I created the Liberation Lounge. It's a membership community for business owners like you who want to build a successful and profitable business on your terms. Inside the lounge, we're all about ditching the hustle mentality and creating real freedom. The freedom to work the hours that you choose. The liberation that comes with complete financial security, the knowledge of how to keep increasing it, and most of all, the confidence to push past your current limits and into new territories of income and impact. You'll learn how to take your business beyond the one way that people can work with you right now and start building the foundations that allow you to make money while you're walking the dog, on date night with your partner, or cuddled up on the sofa watching Disney movies with your toddler. And I'll be there to guide you all the way, just like so many clients that I've worked with to help them double and even triple their income while working less. Inside the lounge, you'll get live check-in sessions with me, monthly masterclasses on sales, mindset, and marketing strategies, social media prompts and scripts to turn your socials into a selling machine, instant access to the Freedom Formula course, full of video trainings to help you get your first 5 to 10 online clients, plus access to an incredible, cozy and close-knit community of business owners who are on the exact same journey as you. Sounds delightful, don't you think? And because you're one of my special She Is the Moment podcast listeners, I have an exclusive discount just for you. If you use the code She Is the Moment at checkout, you'll get your first month half price. Now, this is only for my amazing podcast listeners as a thank you for your support and loyalty, and I'm not going to be sharing this discount code anywhere else. So if you're ready to break free from the grind and build a business that supports your dream lifestyle, click the link in the show notes and I'll see you inside the Liberation Lounge. I can't wait to see you there. The last thing I want you to do is to start embodying a rich bitch. How do I do that? I know it sounds exciting, but how do I do that? I'm going to tell you. Okay, so the identity of a rich bitch and your identity more broadly is made up of lots of different facets. Things like who you spend your time with, where you spend your time, your behaviors and actions, your beliefs that you have about yourself and your internal narrative, and your purpose in life, right? So there's lots more facets of identity, but those are the ones that I'm going to talk about just now. So thinking about your environment, who you spend your time with, where you spend your time, ask yourself, is this a place, are these people a rich bitch would spend time with? So things that I do that help me become a rich bitch is I'm looking at my workspace around me. It's really tidy. I'm actually in a lovely home office that we did up about a few months ago. A year ago, I didn't have a home office. I was working from my bedroom, and that just didn't feel like rich bitch. Like, I've got a lovely bedroom, but I was like, it just doesn't feel right working from my bedroom because that's where I sleep. And I want to work from there too. And then looking at things like the people that you spend time with. Are you spending time with people who are uplifting you, who are big picture thinkers? Yeah, we're always going to have people in our life who are small picture thinkers and who are like small minded. But are you also getting in the room with big picture thinkers, people who are further ahead than you, people who have your best interests, but also are like, you're fucking capable of greatness? Now, that's why I always have a business mentor, because that is a rich bitch activity. I will always be investing in the next level because I don't want to stagnate. I want to keep growing. And then also, like, your behaviors. Are you acting like a rich bitch? So for me, a rich bitch is someone who looks after her mind, body, and soul. So I will always, I've actually not been drinking alcohol for about 6 weeks now. Oh my God. I gave up alcohol until my birthday, which is halfway through November, you better remember. But I gave up alcohol because I was like, the amount I'm drinking doesn't feel conducive to me being a successful business owner. So I just stopped, and I haven't drank now for 6 weeks. And I'm sleeping better. I have more energy. I'm more creative. That's rich bitch activity right there. I also always make sure that I exercise 4 times a week minimum, because I think that a rich bitch is someone who looks after her body. I eat well. I always make sure that I eat loads of fruits and vegetables. I meal prep. I'm now really organized. I have not been an organized person for most of my life, but now I am. I time block. I treat my business like the business of a rich bitch. Okay. And then things like the beliefs that I have about myself and my business. So I believe without a doubt that clients come easily to me. That's so simple. But then if you look at the facts, my behaviors show the amount of work that I put in order for clients to come easily to me. So yeah, it's not just that I sit there and believe, oh yeah, clients come so easily to me. I also post on social media 7 times a week, 5 times a week. I have a podcast, I have a mailing list, I have a mentor. I'm always looking to upskill. I'm always putting work in that is going to make me a better business owner. So thinking about the beliefs that you have, are you believing that high income months are far away? Or are you asking yourself how I can make those high income months closer? Are you sitting there bitching and moaning about the algorithm, or are you thinking of other ways beyond Instagram that you can pick up clients? Are you thinking outside the box? The last thing I'm going to leave with you, and I love this and I learned this from a mindset coach, Katie Bambrick. I highly recommend that you follow her. She talks about above and below the line thinking. And I know this isn't like a Katie concept, it's an NLP concept, but she taught it to me and I love it. So there's above the line and below the line thinking. And the way to remember it is ORBED. So above the line thinking is ownership, accountability, and responsibility. So you're taking ownership for your situation, you're taking responsibility for it, and you're staying accountable. Whereas below the line thinking is when you have a problem, when something isn't going your way, you blame, you make excuses, you're in denial. That to me is one of the most empowering things that I ever learned, because it was like she was calling me out. When I heard that, I was like, bloody hell. Back to what I was saying at the beginning of this podcast, we are the ones who are in control of our income, no one else. We just need to find out if there's a problem. We need to find out what that problem is and take ownership and take responsibility and take accountability and find out how we can solve that problem and keep trying. We don't give up. We don't make excuses. We don't say, oh, well, it didn't work. That's me. No, we keep going until we find the answer to that problem. I hope you've enjoyed me talking about rich bitch mindset. And I want you to tell me if you feel like a rich bitch. I actually want you to message me and tell me about the rich bitch activities that you're going to do this week. So maybe you're going to go to a coffee shop, you're going to take your laptop, you're going to get dressed up to go to the coffee shop, you're going to dress like the businesswoman that you imagine yourself to be. You're going to buy yourself a delicious coffee, but you're going to bring your lunch in with you because you're healthy like that. And you're going to put some noise cancelling headphones on and you're going to sit down and you're going to do some work and you're going to focus, you're going to put your phone on airplane mode and you're going to focus and work. And I promise you're going to feel really good. And I bet something great comes out of your business for that. You're going to take control and empower yourself and educate yourself on money. And you're going to manage your own finances well. And you're going to find out your attachment type to money and discover how we can become more secure in our attachment types. All right. Okay, let's move on. We are going to answer the membership question of the week, and it's a goodie. I know you're going to love this one. So it's from Mel. Hello, Shona. I've launched my website and have a link from my Instagram for an inquiry form. My website also just has the price straight there. Well done, Mel, for getting your website ready. I've just caught up on the Selling Through the DMs masterclass inside Liberation Lounge, and I'm now wondering if I'll maybe lose some clients straight out of the gate with 1, having the price on my page, which is open on my bio, and 2, having the inquiry form there, which actually has all the questions around goals and barriers that you mention in the masterclass. Is there a space for both DMs and what I already have, or will having these really be at my business detriment? Now, what she's referencing there is I did a closing the sale masterclass inside the Liberation Lounge. So this was for the people who find that they get inquiries on DMs, or maybe they don't get inquiries in DMs, but when they do get inquiries in DMs, it goes nowhere because what happens is they get a message, hi, I just want to inquire about coaching. And then you send this big long block of text. Okay, hi, here's my link to coaching. You get this, like, and bombard them with all this information, and then they ghost you. They don't reply. This masterclass was all about how you can convert these people inside the DMs, and it is so successful. I have had so many clients message me after this masterclass be like, oh my God, like these sales are so easy now. Everyone's converting, no one's ghosting, and it's amazing, right? So anyway, that was what the masterclass was. If you want to have access to that masterclass, all you need to do is join the Liberation Lounge. And I'm pretty sure in this episode of the podcast, there is a discount code. She is the moment. Anyway, so the first question that she asked was, well, I lose some clients straight out of the gate with having the price on my page, which is open on my bio. Okay, so I actually mentioned this in the pricing module within Liberation Lounge. Mel, have you watched that? Having your prices on your website is really important, in my opinion. I find it so annoying when people don't have their prices on their website. I find it really frustrating. It actually shows that you have real transparency as a business owner and that you're really open if you have your prices. And the great thing about it is that actually pre-qualifies people as well. So if someone is interested and they have a little look on your website and they see your prices, they're like, oh, okay. And they have that time to absorb that information by themselves, get over it, decide, yep, that works for me. So when they actually do come to message you, they're never going to have price be an objection because they've already seen it. So I think that having your price on your website is great. And quite a lot of times I see coaches and you click the link in their bio and it takes you straight to an inquiry form, like a type form. And with type forms, like you have to answer the first question straight away, or like you can't go any further. So I think if you have that, please delete it right now, because I bet you're having loads of people click the link, but no one actually filling out the inquiry form. What I would replace that for is get rid of Typeform. Don't waste your money on that just now. Maybe get yourself something like a Google form so that they can see the whole page. They can see all the questions, and have one of the questions be like information about the investment, about how much it costs to work with you and all your different pricing plans. So they can click that link, scroll down, have a look. They're like, okay, now I can see she's totally transparent about her prices. I'll go back to start and fill out the consultation form. Because let's face it, when someone clicks the link, they're probably wanting to find out how much it costs. Okay? So get rid of the type form, get yourself a Google form free. If you already pay for Canva, Canva allows you to make a landing page. I've got clients who use Canva for the landing page and it looks perfectly fine. You can have all your information in there. And I actually have a sales page template inside Liberation Lounge as well. So if you want to get that, jump in there. Our next question was, having the inquiry form there, which actually has all the questions around goals and barriers that you mentioned, can ask when they enter your DMs. Okay, so I would have, there's a difference between an inquiry form and an application form. An inquiry form is someone who is like not quite sure yet. Like I would say they're maybe about 75% sure that they want to work with you. And so they fill it out. I would say an application form is someone's 99% sure that they want to work with you. Like that's the form that you give them when they have agreed in the DMs, yes, I want to work with you. Now, you don't have to give them an application form, by the way. You can literally just give them the link. Some people like to have an application form, particularly for one-to-one coaching, because you want to have a nightmare client, and an application form is like a good way that you can vet them, make sure they're an ideal client. But an inquiry form, I would say short, sharp, and to the point, like literally just a few questions. And it would be like, hello, what's your name, your email, tell me about the problems that you're having right now. What's your biggest challenge? And if I could wave a magic wand, where would you be in 3 months' time? Now, that's probably all the information that you need for an inquiry form, because then you can use all that information when they filled out the inquiry, and then you reach back out to them again, or like you have a sales call or a DM conversation. You can say, so tell me a little bit more about this problem that you're having that they've mentioned, or tell me, you said that you're experiencing this challenge, like tell me a little bit more about that. And or even just get really excited about their goals, like, oh, it's so cool that you're getting married this year, like how are you feeling about it? Are you excited? I got married last year, I know how stressful it is. Like these are all information that you can use to sell to them, but also just to show that you're interested and that you're a kind, compassionate human as well. So, in answer to Mel's question, you've bloody nailed it, babes. She's got the prices on her page. Wonderful. She's got an inquiry form. Wonderful. It's just more information that you can have when people enter your DMs. If you have really fabulous content that is speaking to people's problems, is making them aware of what's holding them back, is getting inside their head, showcasing that you know exactly what they want and need, then you will find that DM conversations are really, really easy. Like you don't have to send them all these forms or get them on a sales call. The DM conversation is just literally like you getting to know each other. And then it's like, brilliant. Do you want to go ahead? Here's the link. They're like, yeah, can't wait. And that's when you get all the emojis and the little champagne glasses and the shaking hands and the biceps and all that stuff. That's when like it's so exciting to have that relationship all set up. So well done, Mel. Hope you've enjoyed this episode. I'm going to go and have a lovely cup of tea. Have a wonderful day.